She taught geography.
These
Oni,
rivers are the lifeblood of our
Uslayman,
planet, and it is
but
our
she'd never
duty to
felt it.
protect
When
them.
her son asked, "Why haven't we been to the rivers we talked about?" Sarah Mitchell didn't just answer. She packed her bags. From the Nile to the Amazon, the Mississippi to the Yangtze, she raced the rivers across continents. Not for adventure, but to understand the lifelines that connect us all. Because when you follow a river, you don't just learn about the world, you learn how to protect it. It was 5:47 a.m. in Denver when Sarah Mitchell strapped on her hiking boots, adjusted her backpack, and stared at the map spread across her truck's hood. As a geography teacher from Colorado, she'd spent years teaching her students about the world's longest rivers, the Amazon, the Nile, the Yangtze, but she'd never actually seen most of them. That changed the day her 10-year-old son, Jake, asked her a simple question. "Mom, which river is the longest in our continent?" She paused. "Well, that would be the Mississippi-Missouri River system, Jake. Over 3,700 miles, longer than California, is tall." Jake blinked. "Then why haven't we been there?" That question sparked a mission. Sarah wasn't just going to teach about rivers anymore. She was going to race them. Her first stop is Egypt. Standing on the banks of the Nile at Aswan, Sarah watched the golden sunrise reflect off the slow-moving water. The Nile, she explained in a live classroom stream, is the longest river in the world, a lifeline through the Sahara, feeding civilizations for over 5,000 years. It's not just water, she told her students back home. It's history, it's survival, it's power. But Sarah wasn't here to sightsee. She kayaked a stretch near Luxor, battling the current, feeling the ancient pull of the river. "If this river built empires," she whispered, "then maybe rivers can teach us how to build something lasting too." Next, the Amazon. Hotter, wilder, louder. Deep in the Peruvian rainforest, Sarah traveled by a dugout canoe, surrounded by howler monkeys and pink river dolphins. The Amazon, though slightly shorter than the Nile, carries more water than any river on Earth. 20% of all fresh water flowing into the oceans. "Imagine that," she said, filming a video log. "One river doing the job of thousands." She met indigenous guides who called the Amazon the mother. One elder told her, "She gives life, but she demands respect." That night, under a sky full of stars, Sarah realized rivers aren't just geography, they're guardians. Back home, Sarah drove to Bemidji, Minnesota, the headwaters of the Mississippi. She dipped her hand in the small, clear stream and smiled. This little thing becomes a giant. She followed the river south, by bike, by boat, by foot, all the way to New Orleans. Along the way, she met farmers in Iowa, barge captains in Memphis, and jazz musicians in the French Quarter. Each person had a story tied to the river. At a school in St. Louis, a student asked, "Is our river as important as the Nile?" Sarah didn't hesitate. "Yes, because your water, your food, your electricity, they all depend on it. The Mississippi isn't just long, it's essential." In China, Sarah stood on the edge of the Three Gorges Dam, stunned by the scale of human engineering. The Yangtze, the longest river in Asia, powers millions, but at a cost. Pollution, displacement, lost habitats. Yet in a quiet village along the riverbank, she met a fisherman who still rowed his wooden boat each morning. "The river gives me food," he said, "but we must give back." Sarah filmed the contrast, progress versus preservation. She sent it to her class with one message. Power doesn't have to mean destruction. Russia's Volga River flowed like a silver ribbon through snowy plains. At 2,300 miles, it's Europe's longest. A symbol of Russian identity, Sarah attended a folk festival on its banks where songs were sung to the river like prayers. "It's not the longest," she said, "but it's loved, and that matters." In the dry outback, Sarah found the Murray River, a thread of life in a thirsty land. Farmers fought over its water. Kangaroos gathered near its banks. Climate change was shrinking it. "This river is fighting to survive," Sarah said, "just like we all are." No rivers there, just ice. But Sarah reminded her students, that ice holds the world's fresh water, and when it melts, it feeds all the rivers. Back in Denver, Sarah stood before her class, tanned, tired, transformed. Jake raised his hand. "So, which river was the most powerful?" Sarah smiled. The one that teaches us to care. Rivers don't care about borders or politics or race. They flow. They connect. They sustain. She pulled up a map of the world's longest rivers. From the Nile to the Mississippi, they're not just water. They're the pulse of the planet. And then she said the words that would echo in her classroom forever.